is Monday, and we're back and ready to do some sports on Patrick in the Morning with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yes, we are back in just in time for the NFL playoffs. Now, the regular season is complete. We had our final Sunday of regular season football. Couple big takeaways. In the NFC, the Detroit Lions are the clear number one seed after hammering the Minnesota Vikings last night. The Rams are your NFC West champions. They will start the playoffs at home against Minnesota. And Patrick, you were there just yesterday at SoFi as the Rams wrapped up the regular season against the Seahawks. And I know your boy Geno Smith actually collected a lot of money for hitting some big incentives at the end of the regular season in that game against the Rams. I think that was like $2 million.
Right, man. A couple of them he hit and was able to get some numbers. So that means that they're going to be probably signing him to an extension. I don't know if it'll be a long one, but there's a lot of complaints out of the play from Geno Smith. So I guess we'll have to see what happens in the offseason. But yeah, the Rams even gave the Seahawks a run for their money with Jimmy G as doing his backup thing. But I have a feeling this Vikings-Rams game is actually going to be a really good game because let's remember, I just feel like the Vikings may be coming in to do a little revenge on the Rams. We'll have to see.
Yeah, of all the other teams in the NFC playoffs outside of Detroit, right? Detroit's going to get that first round bye as the number one seed. I feel like the Vikings, were the team that you probably did not want to see. I know the Eagles are playing well, but I'm just not completely convinced on Philadelphia quite yet. But yeah, I think that was a tough first-round matchup for the Rams. I know they get to be at home at SoFi, and that's actually a Monday Night Football game. So a week from today, the Rams will host the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. But I think that's a tough matchup, man. I think with Sam Darnold, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but with Sam Darnold at quarterback, this Minnesota Vikings team is actually pretty good. So I think it's going to be interesting. It might be the best game of the first round, Rams versus Vikings.
And remember the no face mask call where the guy basically hung on Sam Darnold's face mask and swung around like a merry-go-round. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yes. Yeah, and going back to that Vikings versus Lions game from last night, the Vikings are a really good team, and with Detroit handling them, I know it was kind of close in the first half, but Detroit really pulled away in that game to establish themselves as the clear number one seed in the NFC. Now, I'm not ready to make my Super Bowl prediction here today. Maybe on Thursday morning I'll roll it out. But right now, I mean, it sure looks like the Lions are a slam dunk as the team to come out of the NFC, barring something crazy, something wild happening here in the playoffs.
I agree, but I do think Sam Darnold did look off. He overthrew Justin Jefferson at least 5 or 6 times. They could have had a couple scores for sure. So does that mean Sam Darnold kind of got that bad game out of his system and he's ready to unleash on the Rams? I think we're going to find out.
Yeah, and I know Rams fans don't want to hear this, but a Vikings versus Lions rematch in the playoffs, I feel like that's a very good possibility, coming down the road. And I'm with you. Sam Darnold has been lights out all season long, even in the MVP conversation. But he just had a dud against the Lions, so we'll see. I think maybe the Vikings are going to be kind of fired up, maybe angry. The way they played on national TV was so much on the line for the number one seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs that this is probably not going to bode well for the Rams because they're going to have something to prove now.
No, it's like you said. You can almost feel it coming on. The Lions and the Rams are on the same track, and they're going to collide.
All right, so here's the deal, Patrick. We have Vikings versus Rams, first round of the playoffs, Monday Night Football, a week from today. We also have Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders from out of nowhere. They are in the playoffs, and they will play on the road at Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the opening round in the NFC. The other NFC matchup, Packers at the Eagles. I think these are all going to be really fun matchups. I think Rams versus Vikings is going to be the best matchup, but all three of these NFC playoff games I think are awesome.
These are great matchups, dude. Just like you said, these should be great games. But I love our boy, Jaden Daniels, being kind of the dark horse. Who knows what's going to happen? He's the most dangerous person in the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, he's proven it. He did it again over the holiday break.
Yeah.
Leading his team back to another last-second victory. He's done it all season long. He plays far more composed and calm than many veteran quarterbacks in the
Yes.
NFL. The situation is never too big for Jaden Daniels. So even though he's a rookie, and you're thinking maybe he's never been here before, he doesn't know what it's like. Listen, Jaden is comfortable in any situation. He is going to be just fine. Even going on the road against a Tampa Bay team who's got a lot of veterans. Mike Evans was 11th straight season with 1,000, receiving yards. Baker Mayfield, man, he's a seasoned guy now too. Like, this is a very good Tampa Bay team, but you cannot count out Jaden Daniels leading the squad because he is not your typical rookie quarterback in the playoffs.
You're right. That is going to be a great matchup, too. One kind of signal to me that Tampa is going to be at least a significant threat to Jaden is when Mike Evans got that record, how excited the rest of the team was for him. So I got that feeling we're like, ooh, they're an actual team. That can help in the playoffs, man. You never know.
Yeah, they care about one another, right? That means something when you talk about the playoffs and lining up and doing your job and trusting the guy next to you. So
I loved it.
Yeah, I saw that too. The whole team was fired up because they knew only Mike Evans and Jerry Rice, one of my favorite players of all time, the only two guys ever to have 1,000 yards in their first 11 NFL seasons. So that's a small list right there with one of the all-time greats. So
you and Jerry Rice, that means you're headed to Canton, dude.
Yes, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer, I think, for sure. Yeah. And he's got a Super Bowl ring, with Tom Brady. So remember that too. So some great NFC matchups. Over the AFC, Kansas City is the number 1 seed. So the Super Bowl run will go through KC if you're going to make it out of the AFC. The first round matchups include the LA Chargers. They're going to play on the road at CJ Stroud, the pride of Rancho Cook, and the Texans. That's a first round matchup on Saturday. We also have a rematch of Steelers versus Ravens, which I think is unbelievable, man. And then Broncos at the Bills. I'm very curious to see what the Chargers do in the first round, but that Steelers-Ravens rematch, again for the third time this year, is pretty juicy.
Look at these matchups, though, man. Just like you said, great matchups. For me, for some reason, I got a feeling about the Bills. I feel like the Bills are different. I know I'm giving away my Super Bowl picks kind of so far. You know what I mean? I'm favoring my boy Jaden, and I'm also favoring the Bills a little bit. We'll have to see. I can't wait. My team's not even in it, and I'm pumped to see these games.
Okay, so here's the deal, Patrick. On Thursday, I'll give you my Super Bowl prediction. In the NFC, I feel like Detroit's a slam dunk, but I'm gonna really hunker down and think about this. In the AFC, my gut tells me that the Bills have the best chance of winning in Kansas City to reach the Super Bowl. But, and it's a really big but, I feel like the Ravens are the best team right now in the AFC. So I've got this dilemma. I feel like the Bills have the best chance of winning in Kansas City, but I feel like Baltimore might be the best team in the AFC right now. So I'm going back and forth. I'll come back on Thursday with a more concrete answer for you.
I love Lamar, and my kids hate hearing this, but he needs to do well in the playoffs, which we haven't necessarily seen. And my kids, he's MVP. I go, I know, he's great. He's awesome. He's changed the position, but he hasn't done it in the playoffs, you guys. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that matters, right? When you talk about legacy and, is he one of the all-time greats? And I know he's a multi-MVP award winner. But what have you done in the playoffs, right? That's where it matters. That's where your legacy is built.
And only a couple of times, too, I'm trying to tell my kids, too, because they're getting old enough to try to understand stuff. I go, hey, only a couple of times has the MVP won the Super Bowl. It normally means you don't win the Super Bowl, you guys.
Yeah, you have a great regular season, right?
Yes.
But you don't make it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So, regular.
They hate it.
Division titles are nice. Awesome stats are great, especially for Geno Smith. And you made a couple extra $1 million. I get that. But no, you want to win the Super Bowl. That is what it's all about.
And if Lamar was able to do it, talk about, I can't remember a monkey this big on his back since Steve Young. It would be huge for Lamar.
Yeah, you could say, Josh Allen too, but like those two quarterbacks, the best quarterbacks in the NFL, to have not even reached the Super Bowl. At least Joe Burrow made it to a Super Bowl, you could say. But yeah, probably the best quarterbacks that not have a Super Bowl, and it was a large part because Tom Brady and now Patrick Mahomes. They've kept them out of that little, that circle of Super Bowl champions.
They have.
So, yeah, we'll see, man. We got some great first-round matchups. We'll talk more about it on Thursday. We also have the college foosball semifinals. We've got the Orange Bowl coming up on Thursday, Notre Dame versus Penn State. Then on Friday, the old Cotton Bowl, as Texas will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The winner of those two games will obviously play for the national title.
I feel like that Texas-Ohio State game, that could be the decider of who wins the whole things. Again, to bring up the children again, they're big Ohio State guys. They think Ohio State has woken up. And I've always felt like Texas is the most dangerous team in there. Now we get to see them go at it. More good games.
Yeah, great. Thursday and Friday, too. So you have Thursday, Friday, then right into a big weekend of NFL playoff games. I kind of feel like Texas versus Ohio State is maybe the true national championship. No slight to Notre Dame and Penn State. I know they're great, too, and they earned their way to the semifinals. But, yeah, but the thing is, with Texas barely getting past Arizona State, now I'm like, ooh, I don't know if they can hang with the Buckeyes after the Buckeyes throttled Oregon. So I don't know what to make of this matchup.
I know it's going to be a good one. I can't wait.
Yeah, so we'll see. I feel like it's probably going to be Notre Dame versus Ohio State for the national title, but I've been plenty wrong before, so who knows?
Wow, man. Look at the games on our slate. When we talk on Thursday, we'll be that much more pumped and ready for it. Maybe we'll give our Super Bowl predictions on Thursday. No pressure. No pressure. But we like to do it before the playoffs officially start so we can ride with it all the way to the end. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
And in my case, go down with the ship, because I'll probably be wrong, but I'll go down with the ship like a good captain. You can get my stuff on Inland Sports. We are back. It's on Inland Sports, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also have the Inland Sports YouTube channel. That's Inland Sports. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thanks, Pep.